Okay, let's just settle into our meditation posture. And if you are sitting at a desk and your feet are on the ground, you could perhaps put a little cushion underneath your feet and have your ankles and your knees in a parallel position, about a hips width apart. Usually when we're sitting at our desk, somehow we cross our ankles and we cross our legs or knees, and it's really not great for the spine. It's all kind of twisted. Particularly while we're meditating, we want the energy and our breath to be flowing, as best we can. So once we start twisting and twerking and the body, it just creates kind of blocks here, there and everywhere. So we try and keep everything nice, and for this particular purpose, for this meditation, keep everything nice and straight and aligned. So if you are sitting in the regular cross-legged position, you can, hello Victor, and there's Stephanie, hi Stephanie, Michael, hi. You can put a couple of cushions under your knees if you've got tight hips, tight knees. Raise your sits bones. And then let's just imagine our spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And you imagine your spine is being lengthened. Perhaps somebody's very gently pulling that string like a puppet. And you just imagine you're just coaxing the muscles in your back along your spine to just release and relax so you can get longer. Our spine has natural curves in it, so we're never going to be completely straight up and down. But we want to be aligned and lengthened. Head is slightly tipped forward, eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose to a spot about 2 inches ahead if they were open. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Relax the jaw. And let's just bring our awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the back of the eye socket, the nose, the cheeks, around the mouth. And bring your awareness to the back of the head and relax the scalp, the base of the skull, your ears, your temples, back of the tongue and the jaw again. And if you're holding any tension in your neck, you can just release it. And just let your shoulders drop down, your shoulder blades drop down. And just imagine you're letting go any tension in the upper back. Relax your throat and the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers and feet and toes. And let's just bring our mind to the breath, noticing the sensation of the air as we're inhaling. It's kind of cool. As we exhale, it's slightly warmer. If there's anyone in your home right now, if you can hear anyone there, if you have pets, or if you're noticing sound outside your home, just allow those sounds to be there. And notice what distracts you, what attracts your mind, what draws your mind out. And take note, allow the sound, and then very gently just bring your mind back to the breath. And you may have thoughts arising. Maybe something happened today. Maybe you have work on your mind, family on your mind, some kind of issue. No problem, just allow it. And then try to observe those thoughts and feelings without engaging. And try not to judge yourself. So let's just put ourselves on the bank of this river, watching that river of mental moments flowing on by. We just watch it like an objective observer. And just remember that while I know it's difficult in the moment, so we just have to practice at times when we're feeling calm. While you're sitting on the bank of the river, you're free from the river. You're not getting all caught up in it. Take a nice deep breath. Just relax. And bring to mind all the people of your life. Those people that bring you joy. Your friends, your loved ones, your spouses and children and dear colleagues, long-time buddies, besties. And then there's those people in your life who you have some difficulty with. You prefer them not to be in your life, you kind of avoid them. It's like an effort for you to be around them. And then there's those people in your life who are complete, total strangers. Pass in through our lives fleetingly. Each day we must pass thousands of people. Unless you're a complete hermit. And just remembering again that this friend, the enemy, and the stranger can all change places at any time in our life, and they have done so in our previous lives. And think that they're actually the same as us. The friend, the enemy, and the stranger, they're all equal. And why? Because they all have this, they all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they have this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind, just like you. So I think we'll do this meditation, this purification this evening for all these people of our life. And you can keep in mind, as you're doing this purification, you can keep in mind perhaps the people who are involved with all of the fires, people in the war in Ukraine, and that there's been, I think there was a few shootings over the weekend. I'm so surprised. Always seems so difficult with the guns. And then our dear Lorraine, who's got some issues going on. And then maybe there's someone in your life who you love very much, but who's maybe not super interested in this level of Buddhist practice. You can just bring them, put them by your side. Imagine they're doing this meditation with you. So just remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process it's a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can just as easily create positivity with our mind. So the first of the four opponent powers is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general you can regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. Action, cause and effect. having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we understand about suffering. We've all had a lot of it, or a bit of it, or know of it. So it makes sense, it's logical that you'd want to pull those karmic seeds out before they ripen as future suffering for you. So think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. We can also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're relying upon his methods to heal ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, maybe an inch or two above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher, your Lama, your trusted mentor. I'm using many different terms here because some people don't like the word guru. But it's the same thing, that person who is leading you on the path to enlightenment. And you can imagine this is your teacher, your mentor, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And Vajrasattva is made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus. And the lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful, radiant face, youthful. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all the people of your life. And just imagine, he's delighted to see you. Really, really happy to see you. And however it is you're showing up this evening, it's totally fine. He's accepting you exactly where you're at right now. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. The very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. And think particularly of people, maybe you've harmed someone recently, and just develop a wish in your mind for them to not suffer, for them to be free from suffering. And then remember those who have harmed you. This is a little bit more difficult, perhaps, because you know that the suffering they've caused you is going to manifest for them as suffering sometime down in the future, sometime down the road. But it's never sure when that might ripen. So it can be sometimes a surprise, an unpleasant surprise. So just have compassion for them because of that. So next is the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification, where we recite the mantra and visualize light and nectar. So first we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, almost like coming out of a hose very forcefully from his heart or from a waterfall. You can imagine Niagara Falls perhaps, some very kind of strong power. It comes from his heart and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And just think there's no way you could do any harm to any other sentient being, and you could only bring benefit to them now with your body. And so the next is a purification of speech. And again, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine, perhaps it's quite a forceful overflow. It's not just kind of very gently overflowing. It's quite forcefully overflowing, maybe pushing out of the top parts of the body. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and careless speech and useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs, being divisive, all this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room that's kind of pitch black and you switch on the light. That light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same with us. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness, anger, depression, anxieties, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this instantly dispelled as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So the next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and if you wish you can recite a couple of mantras for each of the visualization of the body and of the speech and of the mind we've just done. Or you can imagine light and nectar just pouring into you, filling you completely, and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. As we recite the mantra, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next we come to the power of resolve. But first, let's just rejoice in our efforts and your commitment and your consistency in coming night after night. Having a hard day at work, having to deal with things, bits and pieces here, there and everywhere, and you still manage to show up and put so much effort. And particularly those of you in a time zone that's ahead of us, that's fantastic. It's really inspiring. Thank you. So next, we think of something that we like to work on. We have all these habits, we can't just refrain from doing everything all at once. So just pick something and think, I'm going to refrain from doing this thing between now and tomorrow for maybe 5 seconds at a time, or 5 minutes at a time, or overnight while I'm sleeping. And really make it a strong determination, because this aspiration, this determination, this decision to refrain, to not do something is what gives us the courage to want to change. So next, think Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. And so at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. And this way we look at all phenomena as being empty, not existing from their own side. And perhaps we can think the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created during this purification to all living beings, thinking may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It's all right, Mary, no worries, don't rush. The wish-granting, wish-filling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honouring the three jewels, savour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursul, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Gosh, I feel like the week's going already. It's already like Tuesday tomorrow. I can't believe it. Before I know what, it'll be Friday again. Okay, everybody, lots of love. Good night. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary, for hosting. And I will see some of you tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening.
Thank you.
Okay.